Morning. Whew, look at my hair. God, I think it's went grayer overnight. Is that possible? Wake up with grayer hair? Hmm. So welcome everybody. Thank you for joining me. Yeah, I made a little TikTok this morning and woke up a little later than usual. As I was saying before, I was up watching a well, it's not a new show. It's um it's a there we go. It's on CTV Gem, and I sign in with my Google, and it's called Britannia. Let's see if I can bring it up. There we go. And then I'll just share it with you on what I'm watching. But I find it there's not too many shows that I really enjoy watching per se. This one, I'm thoroughly enjoying it. Turn you guys around so you can see it as well. So this one here, I am on season 3. I've watched it before. This comes from 2021. There is, I think there's, yeah, it only goes up to season 3, and then they stopped. And I believe they stopped because of you know what. But it has Celts in it. It has um the Renaissance. It has magical, mystical. There's a magical spear in there, and it's taken place in 43 AD with the Roman army as it was going through the Isles. So, absolutely, I don't know. I find it. I found it interesting. There's a lot that's in there. Um, when it has to do with the Druids and information about the Druids, and it has information in there about cannibalism and how it's utilized in ritual basis, and which is I found it very ironic because of where Eris is. Now, Eris does over she doubles, Pluto's 248 years. She doubles that. She does a 500-year, cycle. So that's why everyone here on Earth has Eris in Aries, because she takes so long to go round. And, the last time she was conjunct the North Node in air, like, actually, with the conjunction, as long as she was over 500 years ago, but that was at the beginning stage of Aries. So this is where, and if we go back over 500 years ago, and the things that they were practicing, especially when it comes to holistic, I'm going to put holistic in little quotation marks, holistic ways. Um, it was quite interesting, some of the practices that they had, and some of them were very graphic and disgusting and unusual. Some of them were we'd be totally appalled. But then some of the practices that we have, if you think about some of the practices that we do, I mean, how many women save their placenta, right? I mean, that's part of your body. We don't think about it, right? These are things you just don't think about it. Or representation of the blood, and body of Christ. And I mean, in taking that, that is the blood in the body of Christ. So what are you eating? We don't think about these things or these rituals that we do have. And um, because we're sophisticated, we don't really think about things like that. And it's, oh, that's not cannibalism. But it's interesting how it's been integrated and into our society in some very different ways, right? Um, yeah, you bury the placenta. I know, yeah, some people, yeah, the burying of the placenta, um, and putting it in as new growth or with a tree to bring in because you're bringing in new growth, so many women have freeze dried their placenta, especially when they hit menopause, because with the hormones and stuff, and really helps with um, the hormones. And I hate the word balancing, but to help to, I'm going to say, levy out those hormones and the different things that happen within the body, right? Um, so these are some of the practices. And so, anyways, uh, just with the astrology that's happening today and things that are um, unfolding at this time, it's interesting to see it. And anyways, that show that I'm watching, there's magic in there, there's druids in there, there is paganism in there, there's old witches in there. It has it all, and it shows what, the Romans coming in. And even even the Aphrodite, what's it called? Oh, it's that Roman Aphrodite. Oh, anyways, the big Roman bridge in England, and it's still standing today. But could you imagine? I mean, it's called Britannia. It's on CTV Gem. There is this one part where they see them building this structure, and it's like, why would you have a highway in the sky, right? It's just they've never seen that before. They've never, the structure and what it takes to build it, so people are, just totally scared of it, right? And you just think it's like, oh wow, it's like, to us it's like, oh, it's nothing. We have these huge bridges that take us all over the place, or even, to go underneath the water from France to England, or from England to France, right? I mean, that is just like, that would probably freak out a lot of our ancestors. So a lot of things that we've done and come forward. But found it fascinating, and I find it very interesting, especially when, doing a lot of finding out a lot of information and doing the work on my predictions for 2024, uh, which I find very the correlations is just phenomenal. And some of the things that even the royals did, or the elites did, um to thinking of what would sustain them, what would give them that youthfulness, what would, and today we still have where people are looking for that fountain of youth, or wanting to keep that youthfulness and wanting to sustain it in some way, and whether it's putting Botox in your body, or taking the next elixir, or whatever it is, to sustain that beautiful way of being. Um, to I mean, this is another disgusting thing that people, I think, is disgusting, is with the circumcision, and taking the skin from the circumcision and placing it on your skin. No, thank you. Um, just some of the wild, crazy things that human do. And I think it's the wild, crazy things that we do to try to keep our youthfulness, try to keep that substance alive within us for whatever reason. And so, anyways, watching this, and it's just interesting. And I just found the correlations. Yes, that full moon was totally crazy, and how it really aligned with so many, it just felt like it went on for days and days. That is the last full moon in Cancer you're going to have for over a year. You will not have a full moon in Cancer next year. It won't be till 2025 that you'll have a full moon in Cancer. And that Cancer energy is one that is wanting to bring in that nurturing energy and having that nurturing energy. And I love how the planets play their shenanigans. It's like it's wanting us to really take that nurturing, because we're going to be needing that nurturing energy as we are going to be entering 2024. It's going to be where we are really going to have to come back to what is sustaining us, what is bringing us and cultivating that energy within us. And we're going to have to, and it's going to be very important how we prioritize that um, within the within the year, because 2024, if you thought 2020 2021 were crazy, 2024 is going to be times 100 on the energies and the changes that are going to be coming. It is like almost that catapult of the layout from 2012 and what that looks like and what that feels like and the changes that are coming, right? I can't the only water sign I have is Cancer and Mars. And Mars too, that conjunction, well, he's mentioning Mars, that conjunction from Mars and um Mercury are off, which is good. But Venus right now is making a little sextile. There's a lot of energy on Pluto right now because it's like the last hurrah, with Pluto. And we're coming up to where the structures and everything that were put into place from 2008, the ones that are sustainable will still last. The ones that are not sustainable will not last, and they will be gone. And it's really pulling back the different layers, and we're at the very, I'm going to say, the bottom of the layers. um it won't fully reveal everything until November, September, well, around September, October, November of next year. And those are going to be the final layers of Pluto and Capricorn. And then it goes into goes into Aquarius. So this is also a part where, when we have where Pluto is in the farthest reaches from the sun. Pluto is also in where, the way the orbit goes, he's in the underworld. And he's in the underworld for over 100 years. And when we found Pluto was in the 1930s, was right by Saturn, and he just sort of was peeking his head up. That's why from the 1930s till around 2012, Pluto, well, I'm going to say around 2008, Pluto, everything was fast changing. There was new things coming in. There was nuclear energy coming forth. We were in a time of restructuring, redoing, inventions, fast pace. Everything moved at a faster pace. Now that he is gone and he has ascended down into the underworld, we're going to be finding that things are a little bit slower, even though time has sped up. It's kind of weird and freaky as everything else, but it is where things are really dismantled. Things that we thought were working, things that we thought were coming together, are going to be thrown. And that's what Pluto does when he goes into the sign. He brings up the dirty of the dirty of that sign, and to show it to you, to show you what is working and what is not. We still have that moon that is going to be in that opposition today, even as the moon goes into Leo. So we still have that moon opposition Pluto. So there's this an internal core of what is aligning with our heart and our heart desires and the directions of what we are wanting and what we are wanting to build. This is going to be interesting. Are we going to be okay when Pluto enters Aquarius? The amount of people who are struggling mentally, physically, it's going to be escalated, dear. Escalated. Like the thing is that when it comes to humanity, we're going to be finding out, and this is part of my predictions for 2024, which I will go into more details on Saturday evening. If anybody wants to join me, it's $30. There will be a limited time. It's going to be, I will have the recording for, and then after that, the recording will not be available because of some of the predictions I'm going to be making. And some of the predictions, some of them are fabulous and great, and there's such, But the structures, I mean, this is what it is. When Pluto hit Capricorn in 2008, there was a dismantlement of the whole corporate system. We saw the banking system, we saw the housing system, and this is the final hurrah, as they would say. And we will see the final hurrah, hurrah in the end of 2024, what Pluto does with the system. When Pluto goes into Aquarius, that's death. That is the biggest death. We will see less babies and more dead. That's part of what Aquarius. So if we go back 200 and some odd years ago, back to 1778, huge death. That was the French Revolution. That was the American Revolution. That was there was plagues. There was dismantlement and killing of witches. There was a lot of nasty shit going on. And that's what we got to look at. And it's going to be hitting all of those things. So as it goes through, and it's going to be there for 20 years. So, and it's in a fixed sign. So any of the fixed signs, Pluto's going to be squaring. So Pluto's going to square Taurus, it's going to square Scorpio, and it's going to be in an opposition to my lovely Leos. So Leos are really going to get like a brunt of energy coming in to really look at what their connections are, their community, and how that community and connections are within their heart and their heart desires. It's really going to be where you have to really be strong to be building what it is that you need to build. He's like, but this is building into what, Dolores Cannon all talked about. It's building into the new world, the new structures, right? Sun sign and rising signs for Leos. Yay. It's bringing in those changes. It's bringing in where we have to really look at how we are wanting to connect. And I think this is also where we're going to be finding out a lot about our origins of humanity and of humans. That's going to be that discovery of it. And it's I know I got two Leos here that are here. They're like, oh, fuck you. I'm a Scorpio. I mean, squares are just as hard, right? So, and plus he's going to be hitting my Saturn eventually. So Pluto, Saturn. Yeah, we all know what that looks like, right? What a Pluto Saturn looks like. Well, did we experience that? Let me see. Oh, right. Something happened in January of 2020 with a Pluto Saturn conjunction in Capricorn. It's a change. It's a dismantlement, right? And this is what's, and so many of the major big dudes, the big players are all coming to the end of the signs. So this is like a shakeup. So we're being shooken up on how we are dealing with our day-to-day life, how we are wanting to integrate that, and how we are wanting to go forward. Today, with that Venus sextiling over to Pluto, we don't want to get lost. We don't want to get lost in the things that don't work. Like if there is something that you've been striving and striving and striving, and it's just like, and it's not doing any good, and it's not doing you any good. It's like, okay, this Venus sextiling over to Pluto is showing you, okay, well, maybe I need to sort of redo it. Maybe I haven't had that get up and go kind of, doing things, and I've been just lagging my ass. This is showing you like, okay, maybe I need to get the pep back in my step and start changing some of the habits that are holding me back and lagging, right? And this is where, well, maybe I've been over exuberant, overdoing it, and a lot of things around me have been going to the side. So this is now saying, okay, if those things are going off to the side, then maybe I need to, take a step back and reevaluate what is working and what isn't working, right? So this is really a primal time of discovery of ourselves, discovery of the events and how we are going to go forth. I don't believe in New Year's resolutions because in some of the traditions that I was taught, that this is a sleeping time. This is a discovery time. This is a time to go into meditation. This is a time to go into, and I just get like the sweat lodges and the sauna. It's time to really sort of m- 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 moodle over the things that it is that we are wanting to put forward in our lives, and sort of start to look at those little seed and the seed packages. And then as we get into the embolic, February 1st, that's when things start to really arise, and we are going into the year of the dragon. I think it's the water dragon, if I'm not, or is it the wood dragon? I don't know. But we're going into a dragon next year. And that's not going to be happening until the end of January, February, right? So, and the I'm not into Chinese mythology, but I know it follows something to do with Jupiter. So I know it follows the Jupiter cycle. So this is really coming in, and you got to think of what a dragon is. A dragon, dragons aren't cutesy wootsy. This is fierce. This is coming in, and coming in with that fierceness, coming in with, this is what I'm coming in to do. This is what I'm coming in to create. These are my desires, right? And a lunar, yes, it is a lunar cycle. And that's why it starts on the first new moon of the year. So that would be, I believe it's at the end of January, the beginning of February. So we have this celebrate, these transitions that are coming in, and how we are going to be tackling them. So we're coming in, into a time, I'm going to call it the dream cycle. So that's why on January 6th is the releasement. I do the releasement of 2023 of how what we are releasing, and how we are going to be emerging into the fullness, into the beauty of the new year, and what we are wanting to look at and focus at, and sort of, and I'm going to say the word moodling again. What are we going to be moodling? And moodling to me is drawing and writing and sketching and just doodling away of the things that we are wanting to begin to create. And it's not to go out and like drastically change anything in our lives, but it's, let's just take some steps to really make those changes and set our mission, what our mission is. Because in 2024, you are going to be called. You're going to be called to really begin your mission if you haven't already. This is where you're going to be called to really stand up, to really be seen, to be activated. So this is an activation time, and really step into that activation. This is going to be a time, if you're wanting to sit away and hide away, you're going to feel very unruly, anxious. If you're in any doubt, I was just quite a few of my clients, it's amazing, and they're all going through their Saturn return, and their first Saturn return, and I feel these beautiful, young, enterprising people going through their first Saturn return, all having a lot of mental problems, right? Because they're for so long, and they do have a Pluto in Scorpio, and they usually have a Neptune and Uranus conjunction in Capricorn. So, and their Pluto is either in Pisces or at the end of Aquarius, and these beautiful indigos are struggling because they're wanting to hang on to some conservativeness, which is fine, but they're wanting to embrace this spiritual part of themselves, but they are such self-doubt because they don't have a basis, right? So this is very much having a very strong spiritual base, right? And if you're not having that strong spiritual base, not only spiritually, but muggle wise, you'll find there's shaky ground there. There's the mental problems, the anxiety, the stress, the psychosis that will be coming in is going to be huge, because we're going to have a lot of first Saturn returns coming in as Pluto's in Aquarius, right? So these love and that Pluto, is also going to be coming into that square to their Pluto. So we have a whole generation of a Pluto square coming in. And that Pluto square is not easy. It's a kick in the buttocks that's going to get you to really awaken to say, what the fuck you been doing? Have you been doing the work that you need to do? And some of the Plutos with Sag are they're going to be having their first Saturn return a little bit later on in the year, closer into the middle of 2024 per se to 2025. And then because Saturn and Neptune are going to conjunct in 2026. They're not going to conjunct in Neptune. They're going to conjunct in Aries, which is going to be the start of a whole new era. So it's just totally, totally crazy. Anyways, I have to pull a card. My husband's waiting for me. My lovely, lovely man. So if you're wanting to join me for Saturday night, it is $30. Okay. I think my dad's going through that. He's struggling with his upbringing. Yeah. If your dad's around anywhere between 57 to 60, that's your Saturn return. So if you're in there in that range, definitely that's their second Saturn return. And if it is a struggle. Yes, you are on the list. The first Saturn return are between the ages of 27 and 30. So second Saturn return is between 57 and 60. So, and that's where you find like people move, people change their jobs. First one could be with children, could be with marriage, could be with jobs, could be illnesses, death, people dying and leaving, things like that. So they will be going through quite the changes into the spiritual side. I had my second child. So we got the Six of Wands. Woohoo! Yes. So celebrate. Celebrate your life. Celebrate. But know that there's still work to be done. Take some time to celebrate. Take some time to create that newness. And with that comes the Nine of Pentacles. So it's not all bad. There's some real positiveness there. But both these cards are talking about there's still work to be done. Enjoy the bountiful, enjoy the pleasures, enjoy the beauty of that's around you, but know that there's still a lot of work ahead that we have to do. And bringing in that passion into the Muggle world, into the mundane, which is the Pentacles, and making sure that you're keeping up with your health. Health is so important. So keeping up with the health. So there you guys go. I got to get going. I'm going to send you guys off so much love. May the Lord and Lady watch over each and every one of you and all you say and all you be and all you do. If you're needing to book an appointment, definitely get a hold of me and we'll book you in. Also, if you are wanting to join me this Saturday evening, it's $30. Just DM or email me. Mercury retrograde, as Mercury went into Sag, I lost my website. So don't try to go to my website because it's no longer there. Which is, it's part of, anyways, I got a jinx on websites. So it lasted a long time. I'll be rebuilding a new website in the new year. So, hey, it's not bad. It's just shit. It just happens. Okay. Love you all. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.